I didn't build a business. I built a one-man monopoly. This is the sovereign operating system. It is 1 million plus profit, working 2 days a week without a team or complexity that owns you. And this is a dynamic manifesto. It's a dynamic demonstration and documentation of what is possible when someone rejects the dogma and chooses to become their own monopoly. And over a decade, I've regularly discovered newer, faster, and easier ways of executing the ideas inside. And I'll update this manifesto and you along the journey. Act 1, the trap. Don't build a business, design a life, and sell ideas that feed it. Design a life first. Nobody asks you what kind of life you want before they teach you how to build a business. And 99% of people don't want a business. You want income, you want freedom, you want to choose how you spend your time and who you spend it with. And the business was supposed to deliver that, but for most people, it consumed you instead. And I ran a team of 22 people as a marketing director. Then when I built my own business and I had 13 people, it just felt like Groundhog Day. And I followed all the business building rules, and I just couldn't work out why I felt less free than ever. I had more people, more problems, more of my time going to manage the thing that was supposed to set me free. And when the financial crisis took my first business and a marriage ending took everything else, I had a choice: rebuild the same thing or build something different. And I chose different. I work 2 days a week. It's just me delivering to clients. It's solo because I have children to raise and I refuse to let the business consume the time that belong to me. I do have a VA that helps me, but I deliver. And those constraints turned out to be the most important strategic decision I ever made. Not because they forced efficiency, it's because they forced me to design my life first and engineer an ecosystem that serves it. And that's the thing that nobody tells you. Most business advice starts in the wrong place. It starts with the model, the offer, the funnel, the team structure. And before anyone is asked what the business is actually supposed to produce for the person running it, and the result is generation of talented owners who are technically successful and personally trapped. You hit the revenue number and discovered it came with a life you didn't design. And you think that one more system, one more offer will fix it. And all it does is build up more debt. And when we start with our life and our non-negotiables, we only need to build what is necessary to feed them. And my non-negotiables are simple. I want to have dinner with my children every day. I want to see my kids before they leave the house every day. I want to move every day. I want to make 1 million plus profit a year with just my cell phone from anywhere in the world. And I want to have homes that integrate my family and my work. And this is my office. And it's also where my growing family lives. And these are not aspirations. These are constraints I designed my business to fit in. And these are important to me, so I live them. And show me your calendar plus your actions, and I'll show you what's actually important to you. If what's on your calendar doesn't match what you say matters, you haven't designed a life, you've inherited someone else's version of it. And this sovereign OS doesn't tell you how to live. It gives you the operating system to build whatever life you've decided you want, but you have to decide first. Now, I'm giving you the choice to decide, to create a life first, and I can show you the system that can feed your version of it. My life is intentional and has lots of white space. This doesn't look like the typical calendar of $1 million plus operator. And that white space is where I live. It's also where the creativity arrives. So what are your non-negotiables? What constraints are you willing to put on yourself to actually live what's important to you? That's not a soft question, but it's the foundation. Everything else is just engineering because the business comes second, always. If you haven't designed your life, you're just building someone else's idea of success with your time. And to be truly sovereign, you must build your own environment. How you spend your time, where you spend your time, and what you spend your time doing. I had to burn it down. Where I started shaped my values and constraints. 15 years ago, I knocked on doors, making offers every day in rainy England, and it was tough. Door knocking is. I realized that I could make more offers online and build digital assets. I taught myself how to run ads and build websites that were only just becoming a thing. And my business failed when my clients went out of business in the financial crisis. I was also about to become a father for the first time. I quickly pivoted the skills I developed in my business into working in the daily deals industry. And I was up late one night worrying what to do next, and I cold emailed the boss of a brand new startup. And over those following 3 years, I worked myself up to marketing director for a $120 million daily deal company. And I ran thousands of offers every day. And I left and took those skills with me and started building digital assets for other people. And then I built $4 million digital products for myself. And I realized I didn't want to run a business with team and staff and overheads and lots of calls and meetings. I was good at what I did, but I didn't want to sit on the phone all day or have clients constantly asking me for things. I'd worked out how to make money, but I hadn't truly worked out how to build leverage. And then my first marriage ended, and I found myself as a solo dad. I had to burn a financially successful business down to build the life I wanted. And I had to put constraints on myself to work 2 days a week and to do it solo without a team because of my responsibilities as a father. And these constraints turned out to be exactly the thing I needed. And I made a plan and I made it public. And I worked 2 days a week. And in that first year, generated 3.2 million a year from products, then used that cash flow to buy physical assets for my family. And over a decade, I've learned two things. You need to be clear why you're doing what you're doing. And the more it feels like work, the harder it is to sustain. And if you embrace the extraordinary leverage of the time we live in, you can put your life first and build a business that just feeds it. And manifestation is real when you get even somewhat clear about how you spend your time, where you spend it, and what you spend it doing. And I manifested my life by putting it first and shaping my work to feed it. And some of these ideas are the opposite of what everyone else tells you to do. Because firstly, I built my environment and values. I have a home that integrates my family and my work. I do my work here, my family lives here, my clients come and sit at the same table that my family does. And a simple test is when I invite a client to have closer proximity to me, is whether I'd be happy to have them sitting at my dinner table. And I want my kids to grow up all over the world, showing them places to go and ways to live that may inspire them to be able to do the same one day if they choose. And this requires mobility and leverage. I need a model that doesn't tie me to a desk or even time zones. Plus time. The more I work in it, the less time I have to work on it. And when you step back and see the leverage available these days, you start to see that working hard over long hours is actually negative. Because simple systems scale, and anything that interferes with them is detrimental. You see, the sovereign world has very, very high rates of leverage. And I built an operating system that reflects that reality. And the sovereign OS is the operating system. Then I built software that delivers that reality. Solo OS is the software. And I had to let go of a lot of ideas forced on me. I had to escape a lot of traps to become a one-man monopoly. And now all inputs are intentional and it doesn't require much time to run. And the white space is where I live my life and where the creativity arrives. So again, what's your philosophy? What are your principles? How are you going to spend your time? What constraints are you putting in to truly live what's important to you? The true leverage lies here. This is the foundation. And to truly become sovereign, we've got to escape some traps. So coaching, consulting, mentoring, done for you services. And most people fall into one of these by accident. They follow whoever taught them or adopt whatever is most common in their niche. They spend years building a business around a way of working that actually quietly drains them. And these are not interchangeable modalities. Each one is a fundamentally different relationship, a different energy exchange, and a different operating model. So coaching is facilitation. You're drawing the answer out of someone. The skill is in the questions, the reflection, the space you hold. And if you do your best work when you're helping someone discover something they already know, you're coaching. Consulting is prescription. You're bringing the answer in. The skill is in the diagnosis and the recommendation. If you do your best work when you're telling someone exactly what to do and why, you're a consultant. And mentoring is relationship. You're showing someone how you would do it based on where you've been. And the skill is in the translation of experience. If you do your best work by showing someone the path you walked, you're a mentor. And done for you is execution. You're doing the work itself. The skill is in the delivery. If you do your best work by simply building the thing, you're a service provider. Now, none of these is superior to others. The problem is building a business around one you didn't choose deliberately. You know, the coach who secretly wants to consult, the consultant who's functioning as a service provider, the mentor who's coaching when they should be prescribing. So one of my clients, JK, he spent 3 years calling himself a creator before he understood that what he was actually doing was showing people how to generate cash with digital products. The moment he named that, the cash creator, his positioning sharpened, his pricing increased, and his clients started arriving already aligned with what he actually did. And so he could finally build an ecosystem free from this modality trap, and he quickly scaled his income to $100,000 per month recurring. And the modality isn't the business, it's just a delivery mechanism. And seeing it as a mechanism rather than identity gives you the flexibility to bundle modalities into offers and include only what actually generates results and what you enjoy. So ask yourself, when you do your best work, are you drawing something out of someone or bringing something to them? There is no right or wrong answer. For me, I can do both. There's no singular answer. Then we can build an ecosystem that supports all of them. And we build it around you, not around what someone else told you to be. The modality isn't the business, it's the delivery mechanism. So we choose ones that suit us, then you build the ecosystem around it. The sales call trap. Nobody told you that the sales call is optional. They just assumed you'd do it their way. There was a specific Tuesday afternoon when I took the last sales call I ever took. I don't remember the prospect's name. I remember the feeling of sitting there, performing certainty, watching the clock, calculating the probability that the next 45 minutes would produce a client. It did, and I still hated it. I hated them to a point that I couldn't do them anymore. And in 2020, a certain little global pandemic hit the world. I had to pack my family up in 48 hours and leave our home in Bali. And we went back to New Zealand for 5 weeks of lockdown. All the sales calls that I'd scheduled and planned had to go out the window. I was stuck in a house with 2 children and a frantic wife. And I started taking things I was selling and putting them into simple Google Docs. And that was the day I started making selling simple. And I've never done a sales call since. Not because I dislike people, because the sales call was doing the work that my positioning and demonstration should have been doing. If I had to spend 45 minutes convincing someone I was the right person, I hadn't made that obvious enough before they arrived. And sales call is not the law, it's just a habit that got codified into a methodology and sold back to the coaching and consulting world as the only serious way to close high ticket. You know, learn to close, master the objection, build the script. The hidden costs are never part of the pitch. The calendar blocks, the no-shows, the preparation, the energy of performing for an hour. And the conversion pressure, that changes how you show up. And the signal it sends that your business requires a human intervention to close, that limits everything downstream. So selling without calls is not a hack, it's a statement, a positioning statement. If your content is specific enough, your offer is clear enough, and your proof is strong enough, the right client arrives already convinced. And the call was doing the work that your positioning, your content, and your offer should have been doing. So the Sovereign OS is engineered to sell without calls. The authority system builds the positioning, the conversion system runs the campaign, the install system delivers the offer, and the recurring system delivers to clients and delivers new revenue over a long period of time. And the whole machine runs without you needing to be on the phone. We can even make sales while we're on a plane. And this doesn't mean calls never happen, but when we get on the phone, we are delivering. It just so happens that much of our delivery can create a sale as well. It means the call is never the mechanism is a system. And when the system works, the call is optional. When the call is required, the system isn't working. The team trap. The first hire felt like progress. It wasn't. It was the beginning of a different kind of problem. And so the first time I managed a team of 22, it felt like power. The head count, the org chart, the budget, all the signals that told you I'd made something real. And when I built my own business and built a team of 13 people, it felt like Groundhog Day. The same conversations, different names, same problems in different places, the same mornings where the first hour was spent managing people instead of building things. I was good at running a business. I just didn't want to run that one. And when my marriage ended, I found myself as a solo dad. The decision became simple. I could rebuild what I had, the team, the complexity, the overhead, or I could design something that fit the life I actually needed to live. I burned the business down and started again, solo, one VA, 2 days a week. It needed to exist in a simple reality. So every hire creates a new category of problem: performance management, payroll dependency, that social contract of someone's livelihood resting on your revenue. And those meetings that exist only because you have people to meet with. And the decisions require consensus instead of your judgment. And for an agency or product company that with genuine operational complexity, a team is the right leverage. For an expert-based business built around what you specifically know and how you specifically think, a team is almost always a liability disguised as a growth strategy. So operating solo is not a compromise. It's a deliberate architectural choice. The VA handles the operational surface area, the scheduling, the admin, the coordination. The Sovereign OS handles the business logic. You handle the expertise and the relationships that only you can handle. The question most people with expertise never ask is, what would I need to build so that a team is never necessary? And that question leads somewhere different. It leads to systems, products, and leverage instead of headcount management and overhead. One person, the right systems, and a single skilled assistant can run a business that outperforms a 10-person firm on profit, speed, and quality of life. I know because I've done both. The funnel trap. The people selling you complex funnels are not running complex funnels. They're selling the course about complex funnels. And there is a dominant playbook in the coaching and consulting world. You've seen it: the webinar, the VSL, the application funnel, the team of setters and closers, the elaborate onboarding sequence, the high-ticket mastermind with complex ascension model. It's a self-reinforcing system. The people at the top of it sell it to the people beneath them, who sell it to the people beneath them, creating dependency all the way down. The product is the playbook. The proof is the playbook's own success. Most of this complexity was designed for a very different kind of business: SaaS, e-commerce, volume-based models, where the unit economics require scale. It was imported into expert businesses where it doesn't belong and sold as sophistication. It is not sophisticated, it is complicated, and complicated is the enemy of sovereign. So my entire ecosystem runs on two campaigns. The game plan campaign gives someone a plan to fulfill a desire or solve a problem they have. The test drive campaign gets someone to use the product directly. Both are logical, simple, and repeatable. Neither requires marketing in the traditional sense. No stretching of the truth, no elaborate persuasion sequence, no team to run them. I simply demonstrate rather than market. The model is simple enough to fit on one page. That's not a limitation, that's the design. The Sovereign OS is not a simplified version of the standard playbook. It's a fundamentally different model built on different assumptions, that one person can generate sovereign income. That simplicity compounds over time, that the business should serve the life that was designed in chapter 1, not consume it. The one person monopoly is not a stepping stone towards the complex model. It is a destination. It is sovereign. The folks who have figured this out are not scaling toward a team and a funnel and a closer department. They are protecting the simplicity they built because they understand that the complexity was never the point. You were not given bad intentions. You were given the wrong map. The age of leverage. The map is not the terrain. Over the past 2 decades, firstly, the internet, and secondly, social media have given us the greatest opportunity of their lifetimes. It enables one concept essential to building your own sovereign world: leverage. To serve my first client, I had to visit them in their office. A decade later, I've served 6,000 clients, and I haven't met more than 200 of them in person. Digital connectivity has allowed me to build and develop ideas and deliver them to anyone on the planet. And my version doesn't look like anybody else's. In each of the versions I build with others, it is unique to them. These are mini monopolies. And in the past 24 months, the new ultimate leverage tool has come along in the form of artificial intelligence. Now I can literally clone myself, replicate myself, bottle and package 20 years of experience into a product that delivers leverage, but beyond what even I can imagine. And in fact, One day it may replace me. This is some feedback on my software Solo OS, where I've replicated myself and my knowledge. Just some feedback for you on Solo OS. I've had it less than 24 hours, actually using it less than 3. Already 10 times more clear on my offer, message, brand, the angle I'm taking, and the outcomes I need to speak to for clients. I honestly think it's better than getting a one-to-one from you in some cases. I'd be embarrassed to go into this much depth and nuanced detail on a consulting call. Game changer. Now, every day, hundreds of people are coached by me, yet I don't personally speak to a single one of them. Everything I'm laying out maximizes leverage. In the age of leverage, we can replicate almost every element of ourselves and our skills, leaving us free to do the human job of care and connection. We truly have the opportunity to build something that's good for us, good for those we care about, and good for others. There are no gatekeepers anymore, and to convert abundant opportunity into order, you need an operating system. Act 2, the proof. 1 million plus profit, 2 days a week, the sovereign operating system. Most businesses know their revenue. Almost none of them know their profit. The gap is where the trap lives. For years, I measured the wrong number. Revenue looked impressive. Profit per hour of my actual time told a completely different story. And when I had a team, the overhead sat between the top line and what actually reached me. Great months on paper, average months in reality. And the cost of complexity, the payroll, the management time, the problems that required my attention, and the ever-increasing marketing spend was invisible in the revenue figure and unmistakable in the profit one. And the Sovereign OS changed what I measured. The question stopped being how much did we generate and became how much did I generate per hour of my time? And is that number growing without requiring more of my hours? If I want something that feeds my life, then time and the profit it generates is the most valuable metric. Revenue is a vanity metric. Profit per hour of your time is the only number that tells you whether your business is working for you or you are working for it. Here is what the Sovereign OS looks like. 1 million plus profit, 2 working days per week, 3 products, 2 campaigns, 1 VA, a simple model, enough to fit on one page. And this simple system generates over 3 million plus a year for me in profit. But for you to get to 1 million, the mathematics are not complicated. 10 premium clients at an average of 800 per week, 20 program clients at 400 a week, and 70 software clients at 50 per week. That's 100 clients generating 19,500 of recurring weekly revenue, $83,850 a month, recurring every month. And that requires just signing 1.9 new clients a week. You generate 100 leads a week and you need less than 2% to become clients. And I have 5 years of data behind these numbers. These are not projections. They are the current output of the Sovereign OS running as designed. And there are 5 systems that produce this outcome. They are the authority system, the conversion system, the install system, the recurring system, and the delivery system. Each has a specific job, and together they form the operating architecture of this one-person monopoly. So this act walks through each one, and I've given you context from my personal Sovereign OS alongside. The authority and delivery systems. For years, my content was broadcasting, putting things out and hoping they landed. Some did, most disappeared. The problem wasn't the quality of the ideas, it was the absence of a methodology that made buying from me inevitable. Now, a brand is the thing people say about you when you're not there. You live rent-free in someone's head and they associate you with ideas and imagery. And the endpoint of a brand is not awareness, it's action. When your brand consistently sells someone on ideas and imagery, making an offer becomes the natural next step. The authority system is built on a clear position in the market and communicated with 3 different content types. There's philosophy and values, what you personally believe to be true, what you observe, how you see differently. There's problem and opportunity, the common struggles of your audience with your specific solution, and the plan and the proof, the big daddy of content, the direction you're leading people, and the proof that it's real. Now, the best content blends these. This is a plan that includes proof and philosophy. This is a problem post that ends with a specific mechanism. The 3 types are not categories to rotate through, they're ingredients to combine. And the world you build is what the authority makes the authority system compound. And now there are three layers. The first is the identity and the outcome you choose. The ideal is natural for me: 1 million plus, one person monopoly, freedom, sovereign. It stems from a core belief that true freedom is downstream from financial freedom. It's simple for me to demonstrate, as I've done it many times over. I help someone become sovereign through a one person monopoly. It's a binary idea. You either want it or you don't. You either believe it or you don't. I have chosen a clear position in the market that only I can inhabit. All my deliverables, products, and offers contribute to this result, the definition of a monopoly. The second is the world you inhabit and the stories you tell. This is the open loop that runs across months and years, the narrative arcs that people follow because they want to know what happens next. My story about becoming a solo dad, my road to 3 million, simplifying after divorce, and my idea of working 2 days a week made public. These aren't anecdotes, they are threads that keep people returning. And everybody's got a story, and I've shared mine. And the third is the ideas you own, the mechanism and the system that travel beyond your content and become associated with you, regardless of where someone encounters them. My software and OS have been used by hundreds of people. I show proof they work, like Tom here. My Solo OS software has hundreds of people using it every day. These specific mechanisms, they carry your name. These are your intellectual signatures. The world makes you recognizable and different, and this is your true monopoly. The stories make you followable. The mechanisms and systems make you credible. Together, they build the specific authority that makes your offers convert. The people whom you make offers to have been reading your thinking for months and arrive already trusting you. But what do you sell them? All the complexity and overwhelm in the delivery of services to clients happens with poorly defined deliverables. And the delivery system solves this permanently. There's 9 categories of deliverables named, defined, and bundled into offers that constitute everything a person with expertise produces. There's nothing outside the 9, nothing undefined inside them, and it's the ultimate leverage. You build your deliverables top down. You start with the hands-on work, the consulting, the mentoring, the strategic sessions. You document what you do. That documentation becomes the next tier of leverage: workshops, courses, frameworks, tools, and the hands-on work funds the documentation. The documentation produces assets that scale. I personally love working with clients closely. I also love having highly scalable software that sells daily and delivers without me. In the model, you can have both: the intimacy of working directly with a small number of clients and the scale of serving hundreds through products. The 9 categories span the full range, from the highest touch, highest price deliverables to the most automated, most leveraged ones. So my Solo OS software is the operational layer that makes the delivery system scalable for one person. If I didn't have software, training, and tools that are aided with AI, I would not have the levels of leverage that I can currently operate that generate the profit that I can in the time that I dedicate to it. This organizes the categories, automates the delivery infrastructure, and removes the overhead that would otherwise require a team. And the 9 categories also transform how you sell. A business with undefined deliverables can be asked to do anything. A business with 9 defined deliverables under an attractive, authority-driven surface of brand and offers is a one-person monopoly. The install and recurring systems. The month my recurring revenue exceeded my monthly expenses was the month everything changed. Not because the number was extraordinary, because the feeling was. So for the first time in years, I wasn't selling from need. I wasn't taking every call, accepting every client, discounting every price because the alternative was a bad month. The recurring ecosystem had created a floor, and from that floor, every decision I made was different. The install system is the front-end mechanism that creates this floor: one productized offer, a defined scope, a fixed price, and a clear outcome. I'll say this now: it's very difficult to sell straight coaching, consulting, or mentorship to someone who barely knows you. It's very easy to sell a defined offer and install the system to someone you've just met when you combine those ingredients. There's no negotiation, no custom proposals, no scope conversations, one outcome, one price. And this offer lives and dies on the first 3 paragraphs of a page. If you get the promise, the plan, and the price right, then the offer sells itself. The promise is what gets done, what the client can point at, what shows up in their life if they commit. If you articulate their deepest desire better than they can articulate it themselves, you'll win. The plan, what happens first, what happens next, what the next few days and weeks look like, your future pacing. A clear picture of the past so the client can see themselves on it. And the price, a clear return on investment, an easy start, and the cost of inaction built into the framing. They buy to move towards something, make that something vivid. Once we have acquired a client, we have to retain them. We don't have to, but I'm a big fan of selling once and serving for as long as possible. Recurring revenue is the ultimate form of revenue. Getting paid every week, there's nothing like it. And this recurring system has 3 tiers. And I'm going to give you the pricing while I show you mine because I've got the data to back it. So first, there's the software tier. This is $30 to $80 a week. It's the widest entry point. Software, access, courses, workshops, tools. Give them everything they need to DIY. And the program tier, this is $300 to $500 a week. It's guided, it's structured, coach and mentor them to the result. In the premium tier, it's $600 to $1,000 per week. It's high touch, it's high speed, it's the fastest route to the outcome. Build the tools for and with them and give them the playbooks to get the result. I can take clients to $1 million profit in any tier. The more they pay, the more speed and ease they have. The install offers installs the client into the ecosystem. Once installed, the relationship has a natural path through the tiers. The front-end install offer gets them in, the recurring offer keeps them in. 100 clients across 3 tiers generates $19,500 of recurring weekly revenue. I choose to serve many more clients than that, and the system allows me to, and the profit shows on the bottom line. Every week, without starting from scratch, every month. And this is the structural difference between a sovereign ecosystem and there's one that's always one bad month away from pressure. So the conversion system, how do you get customers and clients? You stop marketing. It sounds counterintuitive, but I've seen the hamster wheel that many people put themselves on trying to be marketers. I did it myself. Funnel after funnel, ad after ad, hook after hook. When I gave up, I got more customers and clients that I could shake a stick at. 2 simple principles. Give them a plan, invite them to use your software. Then invite them to become a client and install the system. All roads lead to this. The game plan campaign is simple. Give someone a plan to fulfill a desire or solve a problem. Show them the future they want, then invite them to execute that plan with you. A defined start, a defined sequence, a defined goal. For me, I'm all about giving someone a game plan to reach $1 million plus profit a year on their own. I ask them where they are now. I ask them exactly what they can do and who they want to work with. I give them a plan, then I lay out the 3 phases. No funnel, no complex infrastructure. This campaign runs 24/7 and converts the warm audience the authority system builds and closes it all without a call. And the close on this is binary. Do you want to execute this plan or not? We don't do maybes in the sovereign world. And a campaign is consistent distribution. Without distribution, the best delivery system in the world sits idle. The test drive works in the same vein. I give people a test drive of my software and a taste of what it's like to be in my world. Some decide to stay and some decide it's not for them. During the test drive, I reach out to them, engage them, and ask who they are and what they want to do and where they want to go. They test drive my ideas. I connect with the humans, no marketing required, no angles, hooks, scarcity, or false promises. These 2 systems are the engine that fills everything else. This is your ecosystem. Sovereign OS does not build a business, it builds an ecosystem. When you follow the flow, the machine spits out profits that feed your life. Along the way, and you build and collect and impact relationships and connections that pour value into you, you pull the value out and the flywheel continues. This is what it looks like. It's an idea and offer-driven ecosystem. One core idea, multiple ways to fulfill the idea with clients at different stages, different places, and at different investment levels. Mine looks like this: the game plan, the test drive, the install, the premium, the program, and the software. But looking and doing are different things. You now understand why the traditional model fails. For many, it failed repeatedly. When you have the right foundation, your life, and the right operating system, Sovereign OS, you can't fail because everything you build serves your life. Where do you start? Next, I'm going to show you the path. Act 3, the path. 3K to 3K per week to 3K per day. Phase 1, $3,000, install your productized offer. You already have the expertise. You're missing the package, and that's the only thing between you and your first $3,000. The first 3,000 is a proof of concept. Very simply, if we sell one idea once to a person, we have taken the first step towards $1 million profit a year. The first step, then repeat. You only need to have solved a problem once for yourself or someone else for your idea to come to fruition. But do others want your idea? You are looking for proof. Proof that this specific model works, that a productized offer converts, and you can deliver a defined outcome at a fixed price without a sales call, without scope creep, and without negotiating against yourself. You start with the 9 deliverable categories. Which one do you deliver most consistently? Which produces the clearest, most measurable outcome for a specific type of client? That category becomes the foundation of your front-end offer. Define the scope in 3 parts: what the client brings, what you produce, and what they have when it's done. Write it in plain language. If you cannot describe the scope in two sentences, it's not tight enough. Tightness is not a constraint, it's the thing that makes the offer sellable, deliverable, and repeatable. Set a fixed price that reflects the outcome rather than the hours. It should feel slightly uncomfortable, high enough to signal that what you're selling is premium, low enough that the right client doesn't need a committee to approve it. And the 3,000 entry point has worked across more markets and more modalities than any other price point I've tested. It is enough to generate real profit and reinvest, not so much that the sales process becomes a drawn-out negotiation. Remove every variable. No custom proposals, no it depends, no scope conversations, one deliverable, one price, one timeline. The productized offer sells because there's nothing to negotiate. This is what the offer printer tool does inside SoloOS. It creates your install offer with you. For context, mine looks like this. My install offer, the Clarity Pill, I'll personally create you a plan for 1 million one-person monopoly and support you to execute it for $3,000. The deliverables, there's 3 things there. We have a one-on-one game plan call, I give you 4 weeks in the Sovereign Society, and you get SoloOS software for 12 months. The value of that is almost $10,000. I price it as $3,000, or I offer a payment plan of $500 a week to make it a no-brainer for the right person. I sell this all day long via email in automated ways, by Instagram, by WhatsApp, and it leads with the promise. It has 3 defined deliverables in it. It has a price. It's binary. Somebody either wants it or they don't. Not everyone wants a plan to $1 million solo biz or believes it's even possible. It's not for everyone, but for the right person, is amazingly valuable. It's an excessive amount of value and clarity and a perfect entry point into my world. It's simple, not easy, because everything inside took years to accumulate, but it's a simple idea, a simple offer, and simple to sell. So you choose simple. Test it once, one client, the full scope delivered exactly as specified. Listen to every piece of feedback, refine the definition. To get that first client, audit your existing relationships. Clients you've spoken to the last year that didn't close, your emails, your social media connections, the people who already know what you do. Send a direct message. I'm opening the doors for 5 people to get this result in this time frame. I've made it easy to get started for this weekly payment. Shall I send you the details? When they respond in the affirmative, send them the offer document generated by SoloOS. No pitch, no call. The answer tells you everything you need to know about fit. Concurrently, you should be building your authority system, simply creating content to define your position and give context to your promises. So open SoloOS and build your install offer right now. Define the deliverables, set the price, write the scope. Don't wait until it's perfect. And the first version is the test. Phase 2, $3,000 per week. Run your game plan campaign to your install offer. One client proves the offer. The campaign proves the system. The difference between $3,000 and $3,000 a week is one repeatable mechanism. So a single client is validation. Now you need a campaign to repeat it. The game plan campaign is that structure, and it's driven by a simple idea. It is not a funnel. It is not an ongoing content strategy. It is a contained, repeatable mechanism that turns the warm audience your authority system has been building into install offer purchases all without a sales call. We use a tool to give the prospect a plan. I've made it easy to create this tool inside SoloOS. The tool gives prospects a game plan. When they like the plan, it presents them with your install offer. This is sales on autopilot. We want 10% of people who get a game plan to buy the install offer. The more people you send to the game plan tool, the more conversions and sales you make. First, you send the game plan tool to people you think might be interested. Then you tap other traffic sources to find new people that might be interested. One $3,000 sale per week. That's the simple goal. So open SoloOS, set up your first game plan campaign, map the sequence, connect your front-end offer, and get your campaign moving. You don't need a large audience, you need the right audience and the right sequence. Phase 3, $3,000 per day with the test drive. The difference between $3,000 per week and $3,000 per day is not more work. It's a different relationship between your time and your revenue. The $3,000 per day figure is simply more of the same. The game plan campaign is designed for people who are problem or solution aware. There's only so many of those people in the market on any given day. And the test drive allows us to tap more unaware and pain or opportunity seeking parts of the market. By giving them access to your software, you start to build a flywheel of people who are getting results and want to fulfill the full opportunity. Again, I do what I teach and teach what I do. Here, I create a coaching offer with you in 24 hours and help you get a client in the next 7 days for $1. This is my $1 test drive for SoloOS. During the test drive, I invite people to the install offer. If they decline, then they can still join SoloOS for a low weekly payment. Many of these people have built enough proof and courage to come back to purchase the install offer later. There's actually a fourth phase. Because the game plan and test drive campaigns can take you to $3,000 per day, in the background, your recurring revenue has been accumulating, and it comes from the recurring system compounding. Platform subscribers, program participants, and premium clients producing revenue not continuously, not just when you activate a campaign. This is the structural shift that makes sovereignty permanent rather than occasional. When the recurring layer is full, the business generates revenue whether you're working or not. The 2 days a week become a choice, not a constraint, and the ceiling starts to disappear. The test drive campaign fills the ecosystem. It gives prospective clients direct access to SoloOS, not a demo, not a preview, but the actual software that runs the sovereign operating system. They use it, they experience what it produces. At the end of the trial window, they convert into a paid subscription. As the platform tier fills, it creates the revenue floor described in Chapter 3 of Act 2. As program and premium fill above it, the daily income figure rises without requiring more of your time. The SoloOS is fully operational. All 5 systems running, the machine produces at scale. At this stage, the only variable is how much of your time you choose to invest. The system does not require more of you as it scales, it requires less, because the leverage is structural, not personal. You are not trading hours for revenue. The recurring layer is operating like that. This is what the one-person monopoly actually looks like. Not the aspiration of it, the operational reality, $1 million plus profit, 2 days a week, a business that feeds the life that was designed before it existed. So 3,000 a day is not a hustle target, is what one person with the right system produces when the recurring layer is full. The system is built. The question is whether you're ready to install it. You don't need a business. You need a monopoly. The 1% didn't work harder. They built something different. So 15 chapters ago, you were told that 99% of people who set out to build a business are building the wrong thing. But now you know exactly what the wrong thing is and exactly what the right thing looks like. The trap is real, the modality chosen by accident, the sales call that became the mechanism, that team that became the overhead, the funnel that became the identity. None of it was bad intentions, all of it was the wrong map. The one-person monopoly is not a scaled-down version of a real business, it's a more advanced version. It requires clearer positioning, cleaner systems, and a deep sense of what you are actually building towards. Most people can't do it, not because they lack capability, because they lack the conviction to stop building what everybody else is building. Because a monopoly is a choice. It's available to anyone with even a small amount of expertise. It only belongs to a chosen few, the ones that chose themselves. It belongs to the person who has decided that the business serves the life, not the other way around. They have chosen simplicity over complexity, profit over revenue, sovereignty over scale. He who has designed the life first and engineered everything else to fit it. You have the sovereign OS, the 5 systems, each with a specific job, together forming the operating architecture of a one-person monopoly. You have the path from 3K to 3K per week to 3K per day with a mechanism that unlocks each stage. You have Solo OS, the software that runs the whole thing. The only remaining variable is decision. The market has one seat for a sovereign expert in your category. It should be yours.